straight way on. Get me out of my head and out of this town and tell me no matter what, you'll be on my side. Everything gonna be alright. Make the world go black. How you do me like that when I climb up in your truck? Just pick me up. Yeah, just pick me up.
I got rice cooking in the microwave. Got a 3-day beard I don't plan to shave. And it's a goofy thing, but I just gotta say, hey, I'm a-doing alright. Yeah, I think I'll make me some homemade soup. I'm feeling pretty good, and that's the truth. It's neither drink nor drug induced. No, I'm just doing alright. And it's a great day to be alive. I know the sun's still shining when I close my eyes. There's some hard times in the neighborhood, but why can't every day be just this good? Oh, yeah. It's been 15 years since I left home. Said good luck to every seed I'd sown. Gave it my best and then I left it alone. I hope they're doing alright. Now I look in the mirror and what do I see? A lone wolf there staring back at me. Long in the tooth but harmless as can be. Lord, I guess he's doing alright. And it's a great day to be alive. I know the sun's still shining when I close my eyes. There's some hard times in the neighborhood, but why can't every day be just this good? Sometimes it's lonely, sometimes it's only me and the shadows that
Good afternoon and welcome to the 67th annual commencement exercises at Wantagh High School. Please rise and join GO co-presidents Emma Alexander and Angelina Masiak in our salute to the flag, followed by our national anthem led by student conductors Ryan Kelton and Hannah McCormick.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. At this time, it is my privilege to introduce the distinguished members of our administration and honored guests. I ask that you hold your applause until I introduce all those present on our dais. The Superintendent of Wantagh Public Schools, Mr. John McNamara. The Assistant Superintendent for Instruction, Dr. Mark Ferris. The Assistant Superintendent for Business, Mr. Anthony Cedrone. The Assistant Superintendent for Pupil Personnel Services, Mr. Stephen Moran. The President of the Wantagh Board of Education, Mr. Anthony Greco. The Vice President of the Wantagh Board of Education, Mrs. Laura Reish. Trustee of the Wantagh Board of Education, Mrs. Tara Cassidy. Trustee of the Wantagh Board of Education, Mr. Adam Fisher. Trustee of the Wantagh Board of Education, Mrs. Kira McLaughlin. The Principal of Wantagh High School, Dr. Paul Gazzone. Assistant Principal of Wantagh High School, Mr. Nick Pappas. Assistant Principal of Wantagh High School, Dr. Christopher Widman. The Principal of Wantagh Middle School, Mr. Anthony Schiffo. The Principal of Wantagh Elementary School, Dr. Randy Bonagura. The Principal of Forest Lake Elementary School, Mrs. Jessica Zimmer. The Principal of Mandalay Elementary School, Mrs. Marie Pasicchio. The Director of Physical Education, Athletics, and Health Education, Ms. Jennifer Keene. The Director of English, Reading, Library, Social Studies, ENL, and World Languages, Mrs. Julie Rosley. The Director of Science, Mathematics, and Technology Education, Mrs. Carol Ann Winans. The Wantagh Scholarship Fund President, Mr. Gerald McCrink. Nassau County Legislator, Mr. Stephen Rhodes, Class of 1987 Wantagh High School, please welcome Mr. Stephen Rhodes. And last, but certainly not least, the Wantagh High School Band, directed by Mr. Dan Aviles and Mr. Christopher Cochran. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the principal of Wantagh High School, Dr. Paul Gazzone.
Good evening, families and friends of the class of 2022. Although this day seems so far away, back on our first day of school this past September, and although all of us have experienced one solid ride this past year or two, we have made it, and we are here to celebrate this magnificent milestone of our seniors. But first, I would like to begin by acknowledging our Board of Education, Central District and Building Administration, faculty, staff, families, and lastly, our graduates. I would also like to acknowledge some special people that spent countless hours to help make this celebration happen. Thank you to the 612 for supporting our seniors this entire year, and for most recently, providing the 900 waters for today's ceremony. Thank you to Numa's Flowers, who, in keeping with tradition, donated all the beautiful flowers that you see here. Thank you to Rob Levergine, Tracy Hiscock, Tom Fucci, as they led our custodial and grounds crew in putting essentially everything you see here together. Thank you to Patty Henderson and Matt Fetterbus for their help in planning for this ceremony. They have just been invaluable to our team. Thank you to Ms. Prisco, our senior class advisor. Ms. Prisco worked tirelessly this year to give our seniors everything and anything she could, and in another year where targets were constantly moving, this was no easy task. Thank you to our graduation coordinator, Ms. Pepe, who spearheaded the entire operation and has done so for her first time beautifully. Thank you to our families for your patience and support as we have worked to traverse these last 2 years in a manner that ensured our students were able to receive the best education possible, felt emotionally connected, and eventually were able to experience high school as they should. I also feel compelled this year to thank a group of seniors who, through their own efforts, raised over $3,000 for the senior class in a single night. Last night's senior prom, which was fantastic, and I thank them all. So thank you to Tessa Kurtzman and the members of Coleslaw, Gabe Cruz, Mike Garrity, Matt Spiteri, and Jerry Wolfler. Yes, law is law. Now, what I want to speak today is the concept of absolute value. In its most basic form, I know that all of us at this point are visualizing sitting in math class, looking at the board on your paper, looking at a number or variable, which I will say is X, because let's face it, it pretty much always is X, right? Now, encompassing that value,
I'm sure it will be filled with some mixed emotions, both excitement and a small sense of uncertainty and nervousness. However, I know that this class is ready. You have overcome so much adversity over the past several years and are prepared to handle whatever life will throw at you next. This will take courage and fortitude and strength of character, something that our graduates today have plenty of. All of you have already exhibited that strength throughout your time here, and not just through the challenges of the pandemic. You have also exhibited great strength by challenging yourself with rigorous courses, participating in tremendous community service, facing social and friendship challenges head-on, battling on our athletic fields, and braving our auditorium stage for concerts and shows. Some of you have also faced significant personal challenges during your time here at Wantagh High School, struggles with health and injuries, loss of family members, and through it all, you continue to exhibit that tremendous strength. We live during a time in which our society faces complex problems, and we need out-of-the-box thinkers, creative people to face those challenges, and that is all of you. I look out at our athletic field today, and I see a graduating class with diverse talents in so many different areas, but most importantly, I see a graduating class with great strength and fortitude. I hope the lessons that you've learned here in Wantagh, both inside and outside the classroom, will serve you well. I thank you for your many contributions over the past 13 years to our school community and wish you tremendous success and happiness in the years to come. I leave you today with some words from Ellison Onizuka, who was an American hero, an astronaut for NASA, that tragically lost his life in 1986 on Space Shuttle Challenger. Ellison said, "If I can impress upon you only one idea, let it be that the people who make this world run, whose lives can be termed successful, whose names will go down in the history books, are not the cynics, the critics, or the armchair quarterbacks. They are the adventurous, the explorers, the doers of this world. When they see a wrong or a problem, they do something about it. Rather than leaning back and criticizing how things are, they work to make things the way that they should be. Make your life count, and the world will be a better place because you tried." So I ask all of you to be strong. Make your lives count. Don't be the cynic or the armchair quarterback. This is your time. This is your moment. Seize the opportunities that lie ahead. Be the explorer, be the adventurous, and make our district and community proud. I have no doubt that you will do just that. Congratulations, class of 2022, and Godspeed. Thank you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the President of the Wantagh School District Board of Education, Mr. Anthony Greco.
Good evening, and congratulations to the Wantagh High School class of 2022. It is great to see so many people here to celebrate your milestone moment. Your high school experience was certainly abnormal, and not what anyone expected when you first walked through the halls at freshman orientation 4 years ago. But you adapted, you persevered, and you made it here today as a highly accomplished class. That ability to adapt to challenging situations will serve you well throughout your lives. When things get tough as an adult, remember to look inside yourselves for the same determination you found when you were in high school. We know it's there, and this graduation ceremony is proof of that. Collectively, you've been educated at 5 National Blue Ribbon Schools of Excellence, including Wantagh High School, which recently earned that designation for the second time during your junior year. You have learned from the best teachers around, who consistently went above and beyond because they care about your success. Never forget about those teachers who made an impact in your lives, who pushed you to work a little harder, or who introduced you to something new. Thanks to the continued support of this tremendous community, you have enjoyed so many opportunities, such as college-level classes, dozens of electives, just about any club you can imagine, great athletic programs, and partnerships with our community organizations. You have shown your appreciation not only by taking advantage of these opportunities, but by thriving in them. On behalf of the entire Wantagh Board of Education, I wish you all a happy, healthy, and prosperous future. You've made us proud. Now go into the world and show people what warriors can do.
Thank you, Mr. Greco. Our next speaker is the Vice President of the class of 2022. Joey Labo has been a very involved student during his time here at Wantagh High School, as he is also the co-president of the World Food Club and the president of the Drama Club. Joey plans to study health science at Northeastern University next fall. So please join me in welcoming the Vice President of the class of 2022, Joey Labo.
In any given moment, we have 2 options: to step forward into growth or to step back into safety. This is a quote from psychologist Abraham Maslow. When I look out at the faces of every graduate sitting in front of me, I can't help but think about how much we've changed throughout high school. Back in 2018, we walked through those doors thinking we knew everything. We had bright eyes and stood tall, probably with fewer stress lines. We were ready to make the most of high school. but change can be a funny thing. It happens even if you don't know it. Everything we thought we knew went out the window. We learned about life and growing into our own. We assumed independence, and sure, maybe we made some mistakes along the way, but even those small moments led us right here. In 9th grade, you started your path towards graduation without realizing it. You joined a few clubs or sports, some you felt right at home in, and some you didn't love, but you had to try to know. You started to get to know your teachers, some people with who you would find solace with over the next 4 years. In 10th grade, you were more on track. You knew who your people were, and you might have thought nothing could ruin this. I did. But shortly after hitting our mid-year mark, we were literally shut down. We couldn't see our friends or go to school. I actually missed going to school. Well, not really, but I was sort of excited to go back at the beginning of junior year. It was scary. I don't know about you, but most of the change I went through was during our time off from school, because I was able to look inside and reflect on myself, something that a lot of high schoolers don't get the opportunity to do. At the beginning of junior year, it was exciting to be an upperclassman. We took on leadership roles and fell right back into the swing of school. Living in the world we were in, we were all little adults who were forced to grow up a little too quickly, but we were able to get through it. It was the true friendships we formed and the people we surrounded ourselves with that made us comfortable in our own skin. It was the teachers who you discovered would have your back even in the toughest times. And by the time we got to senior year, we visibly saw the changes in ourselves and those around us. For me, my friends turned into a second family who I am thankful for every day because they always endorse me. I would like to extend a thank you to my teachers who stick by me and exhibit their belief in what I can bring to the world. To Dr. Gazzone and Mr. Pappas, who made my speech here possible today and make Wantagh High School a welcoming environment while striving for excellence. And a subtle thank you to Skylar Marchese, who is accomplished enough to be both the salutatorian and the president, so I get to make a speech here today. Yay. But most of all, I want to thank, with every single fiber of my being, my home base, the people who I have the honor of calling my family. My parents, who gave me life, who I work hard for every day, who I try to make proud. You're always the wind to my back, pushing me forward. To my 2 older sisters, who have inspired me since the moment I was born. Their selflessness and caring natures make them more like my second and third moms, who, like my parents, only want the best for me. For all the family who made it possible for you to be here, and some who might not have been able to make it to today, can they please hear a round of applause? To the class of 2022, I want you to be proud of where you are right now. Live every moment fully, for better or for worse, because before you know it, you'll want all of this time back. But I also want you to look towards the future. I talked about change throughout my speech. In a few months, we are about to experience one of the biggest changes in our lives. It's up to you whether you choose to step forward into growth or step back into safety. I encourage you to take your life by the reins and never let anyone else set your limits. As the wise Uncle Iroh once said, life happens wherever you are, whether you make it or not. Congratulations, and I'll see you at the reunion. Thank you.
Thank you, Joey. That was great. And now, representing the Wantagh Dollars for Scholars Fund, its president, Mr. Gerald McCrink.
Good evening. It's my honor to be here today to present scholarships on behalf of Wantagh Dollars for Scholars. Wantagh Dollars for Scholars is part of a larger organization called Scholarship America, which is the nation's largest not-for-profit, private sector educational support and scholarship organization. The funding for these awards comes principally from an annual fund drive supported most generously by our local residents, businesses, and professionals in the Wantagh community. Today, I will be awarding 12 scholarships. Now, let me get started. The A&F Consulting Services Park Avenue Service Scholarship is awarded to Kaylee Tate. Thank you. De Gennaro Avento Fran Barton Jeffrey Labret Memorial Scholarship is awarded to Jennifer Rosen. The Barone Bendetti Cuomo Family Scholarship is awarded to Angelina Masiak. The James and Eileen Castro, Lillian Eastland, and Bruce P. Stevens Memorial Scholarship is awarded to Jenna Rakeley. The Lieutenant John Garvey and Joan Garvey Memorial Scholarship is awarded to Caroline Wiffler. The Ryan Eng Family Scholarship is awarded to Emma Alexander. The Klepacki Family Scholarship is awarded to Skylar Marchese. Say that wrong? The Perigene Me Family Scholarship is awarded to Kevin Funstein. The Coach Nate Shafroth and Reverend Daniel J. McCloskey Thomas Stone Memorial Scholarship is awarded to Cavett Ireland. The Charles Schwarbert Memorial Scholarship is awarded to Julia Froese. The Sandra Simpson Insurance Agency Long Island Architecture Studio Scholarship is awarded to Aidan Schroe. The Wantagh High School Class of 1957 Scholarship is awarded to Juliana Rose. On behalf of Dollars for Scholars, congratulations, and hope everybody has a great summer. There you go. Thanks. You can all go back.
Congratulations, guys.
Thank you, Mr. McCrink. Congratulations to our scholarship winners. We in the Wantagh faculty and administration appreciate the efforts and generosity of Mr. McCrink and the donors to the Wantagh Scholarship Fund. On behalf of our students who directly benefit from these efforts, we thank you. And now, to introduce our salutatorian, please welcome the Assistant Principal of Wantagh High School, Dr. Christopher Widman.
Thank you, Frank. Good evening. I have the pleasure of introducing our next speaker, Wantagh High School Class of 22 Salutatorian, Skylar Marchese. Speaking with Skylar, I am touched by her familial bond and inspiration from her older sisters who attended Cornell and Sacred Heart University. Although several years older than Skylar, they guided and motivated her as she developed into the fine young lady here before you today. Over the past 4 years, Skylar has built a tremendous resume here at Wantagh with a 107.3 weighted average. It's been a long day. She's an academic powerhouse, taking the most rigorous courses, participating in many clubs, participating as a member of 3 honor societies, and competing as a varsity soccer and track athlete. I would love to go through all of her accomplishments, both in and out of the classroom, but I would rather speak about Skylar the person. When asked, her teachers described Skylar using words like insightful, humble, poised, articulate, mature, and involved. They also stated her work is scholarly, and she is a tireless worker. She's an all-star. The one word, though, that stuck with me most was caring. Skylar epitomizes the term caring, evidenced by her tireless efforts participating in numerous community service opportunities, most especially her efforts to raise money for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society through the Warriors for a Cure, for which she raised over $110,000. Skylar shared with me that her motivation for this was the loss of her childhood best friend when she was 12 years old. Skylar's friend passed from neuroblastoma, cancer found in the adrenal glands. This loss inspired Skylar to fight for causes that she hoped would make him proud. Skylar, I'm quite sure he's looking down at you with pride for all that you have accomplished. As a track athlete, Skylar enjoyed the solitude of a runner. As an individual sport, running makes people responsible for their own individual performance. Skylar translated this into all facets of her life. To quote the late great track star Steve Prefontaine, to give anything less than your best is to sacrifice the gift. Skylar has not sacrificed any of her gifts. She will continue her stellar career in the fall, studying neuroscience at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, with aspirations to continue on to medical school in her future. Please join me in recognizing the class of 2022 Salutatorian, Skylar Marchese. Come on up. Congratulations, Skylar.
Good afternoon to all of the seniors of the class of 2022, parents, family, teachers, staff, and administration that have come to make this day a reality. Thanks to every single one of you, and far too much caffeine, I have the opportunity to stand up here today. I kept saying to myself that every last moment that I have had in the past few weeks, whether it was a soccer game, track meet, assignment, or a day of school, was bittersweet, but not quite real. However, now as I stand in front of all of the seniors that I've basically grown up with for the last 4 years, it could not be more real than this. There were absolutely times when I thought we would never be able to have a normal senior year or even come together as a grade to enjoy it. But that is not what this speech is about. I want to speak about how we overcame that challenge, adapted, and came out both stronger and more resilient because of it. Some may even say high school has been slipping through our fingers all the time. If you know me pretty well, you also probably know that I have had an obsession with the movie Mamma Mia since I was 8 years old. This iconic movie tells the story of Donna, an independent mother, through the music of ABBA. She is preparing for her daughter Sophie's wedding, but young Sophie must battle with both internal and external conflicts to learn what is truly fulfilling and makes her happy in life. Much like the class of 2022, we all entered freshman year unknowing but hopeful. Suddenly, we were met with life-altering circumstances in sophomore year and had to take risks to realize our dreams and succeed past these obstacles. Sophie is met with the challenge of knowing if marriage is really what she wants in life or if she is avoiding the true problem that she wants more time to explore the world around her. After the isolation and loneliness of the pandemic, we had to face the challenge of navigating high school all over again and finding what would fulfill our lives for the next 2 years. We had to rediscover that settling was not an option, and like Sophie, we sought to break free from the redundancy that the pandemic brought to our lives. From broken friendships to difficulty in school, we had no choice but to adapt and move on. A quote from Mamma Mia, most fitting to our sophomore year, was undoubtedly, "You'll be dancing once again, and the pain will end. You will have no time for grieving." It is difficult to speak of the last half of sophomore year positively. However, we did all learn the value of each other during this time. We felt upset, angry, and lonely, but surpassed these hardships and learned to dance again, which is exactly why we are all sitting here this afternoon. Moving forward, Sophie sought to uncover the pieces missing from her life. She had to find herself before she could advance to the next chapter of growing up. For the class of 2022, this is purely what junior year was all about. Learning to live a normal life again, finding ourselves, repairing relationships, and discovering the true root of our happiness defined last year for many of us. Whether it was falling back in love with a sport that you could not play for over a year, rejoining clubs in school, or simply forming friendships with peers and teachers, we all successfully have found what we needed to graduate and thrive in the face of a global pandemic. In the spirit of Mamma Mia, we did what made our soul shine. A direct quote from the movie that represents junior year to me is, "The best things in life, the very best things, happen unexpectedly." Senior year was surprisingly and incredibly normal, in the best way possible. We assembled as a class, finally celebrating that we were lucky enough to have school events again, like Spirit Night, the Senior Variety Show, Sports Night, and even student-run concerts after school. It was all about enjoying life, taking risks, and making the best of the last few months that we had together in Wantagh. A direct quote from Mamma Mia that best describes our senior year to me is, "Life is short, the world is wide, I want to make some memories." And we did just that, with confidence. We in fact made more than a few memories, grew together, and learned to appreciate each other like we never have before. Not only did we succeed academically in the presence of a global pandemic, but developed into stronger individuals and ultimately became united as a family. Every member of the senior class played a vital role in doing so, by valuing each other's differences, interests, and skills. We laughed and cried together. We spoke to people that we had never expected to be friends with before. And although high school was a little out of the ordinary, we did not allow anything to take away from our experience. On one last note, I want to reflect on how much the faculty and staff will be missed as well by the senior class. I remember just 2 weeks ago, I was standing in Miss Sehos's room, sobbing like an absolute baby that I didn't want to leave even after the bell rang. She gave us all hugs but sent us on our way with reassuring words that the best is yet to come. And she was right. This chapter of our lives may be over, but there are new experiences, successes, and challenges waiting for us, meant to be faced fearlessly. To close my speech, I want to leave every senior with one last quote from Mamma Mia, to inspire us to do great things as we leave Wantagh High School and continue to seek out what is truly fulfilling in our lives rather than settling for less when faced with an obstacle. May the rest of our lives be the best of our lives. Thank you and congratulations to the class of 2022.
Thank you, Skylar, for those wonderful remarks. And now, to introduce our valedictorian, please welcome the Assistant Superintendent for Instruction for Wantagh Public Schools, Dr. Mark Ferris.
Thank you. What an absolutely beautiful day for a graduation. As Mr. McNamara said in his opening remarks, we are looking for all of our students to be people of impact, adventurers, explorers, innovators, creators, people who make a difference in the lives of others. We're essentially asking you to be heroes. It is with this in mind that I'm honored to be speaking about your 2022 Wantagh High School valedictorian, Juliana Rose. Over the years, there have been many outstanding valedictorians to walk the hallways of Wantagh High School. However, I am told by this administration and guidance department that none have achieved the academic successes of Juliana. Her 108 GPA is the highest anyone here can ever remember, ever. 108. That's a temperature in South Texas, not usually a GPA. If you've been to any of our awards ceremonies this year or last, you'll remember images of Juliana doing laps up and down the stages of Wantagh Auditorium, carrying away numerous awards and trophies, some almost as tall as she is. When asked about her interests, they reach far and wide. Juliana has been a member of our theater productions, science research program, and numerous clubs and extracurricular activities. She is a National Merit Scholar, AP Scholar with Distinction, and winner of the Harvard Book Award. When she is not studying, reading, or getting perfect scores on her exams, she spends her time reading with her brother and sister and competing with members of her family in local triathlons. Yes, she does theater, science, and in her spare time, triathlons. Her student profile reads more like the next hero in an upcoming Avengers movie than the student resume heading to college. She loves her family and attributes her success to her parents who inspired her to love reading at an early age and for giving her opportunities to try just about everything as she was growing up. She loves the arts and theater because she loves the idea of telling stories and sharing those stories with others. She loves science because she wants to understand the world around her and make a difference for others. Her friends and classmates describe her as fiercely competitive in the humblest manner, modest, a good friend, and down to earth. They describe her as down to earth. That's kind of interesting because when you ask Juliana what her interests are, she explains that she wants to study hydroponics. But she doesn't just want to study hydroponics on the planet Earth. She actually has done her research and would like to do this very much in outer space. She's studying hydroponics in outer space. Juliana is going to be an astronaut and grow plants in outer space. So there you have it. Juliana is not exactly down to earth at all. In fact, she is simply out of this world. And it is for those reasons and many, many more that I am proud to introduce to you our next speaker, the Valedictorian of Wantagh High School, Juliana Rose.
Good afternoon. I would first like to congratulate everyone in the class of 2022 on this momentous occasion. You are all incredible students and people, and I am honored to be graduating with you. I would also like to thank everyone to led us to who we are today: teachers, administration, staff members, and family members. We would not be here without your continued support, so I know I speak on behalf of the entire class when I say thank you from the bottom of our hearts. In 7th grade science class, my friends and I decided to create a challenge. Every day, a student would come into class with a new and interesting word to share. I don't entirely remember how this came about, but I know that every day, for a whopping 3 days, we learned a new word before the challenge fell to the wayside. However, as we graduate, moving on to the next stage in our lives, be it college, trade school, or the workforce, I encourage you to investigate new words. Long words with great numbers of syllables, short words with grandiose meanings, words in different languages, and words that seem like they are from another language for all the sense they make grammatically. As the saying goes, a word a day keeps the doctor away, right? And to start your challenge, I'm going to present some of my favorite words. Words that I learned within the walls of Wantagh High School, words that are meaningful, and words that are just fun. The first, petrichor. The earthy smell of the rain hitting the pavement. You can imagine it, right? This is one of those words that, to me, is just fun. A word for a phenomenon that everyone understands, but no one thinks to put a name to. This word is also an inspiration to look deeper, to ask more questions, and find more complex answers. Even if we do not know how to describe something, we can find a way if we look further, reach higher, explore more fully. And it's a great conversation starter. Hey, what's your favorite scent? Mine is petrichor. Next up, tumultuous. I am certain that our high school experience can be defined as tumultuous, more so than many other past classes of high school graduates. 4 years full of disorder and confusion. We faced a stomach virus, a computer virus, and the coronavirus, constant uncertainties about whether tests would be offered and whether we would be in school, not to mention various other personal obstacles. While the experience may have been tumultuous, this has led you to become resilient, to face challenges head-on. Instead of succumbing to the tumult of the past 4 years, each and every one of you has risen to the occasion, and all of you should be proud that you have risen despite all odds. This next word is the one that I presented to my 7th grade class before we lost interest in our Word of the Day challenge, eleemosynary. This word is just a fancier way of saying charitable. And in the past few years at Wantagh High School, I have been awed by how charitable you all have been. From participating in beach cleanups, to raising money for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, to running collections for books, food, Legos, and more, the eleemosynary spirit has definitely been at work in Wantagh. In your future endeavors, I encourage you to continue this charitable work. The class of 2022 has inspired me to give back to our present and future communities to help make a difference, and I am certain that each of you will continue to do so, even with just a kind gesture or word of encouragement to a fellow student or coworker. For everyone who was in my AP Euro class in 10th grade, this next word is likely one of your favorites: defenestration. After learning about the not one, not two, but 3 defenestrations of Prague, it is hard not to enjoy this word, meaning to throw out a window. Yes, people were thrown out of windows multiple times in Prague throughout recorded history. I know at times we have all felt the urge to defenestrate something, be it a textbook, Chromebook, or fellow student out of frustration. However, for the most part, you kept your cool. To relate the word defenestration to our graduation, we are currently, figuratively, throwing ourselves out of one window, the window of high school, and entering a new environment, though I am confident that in this instance, unlike those in the defenestration of Prague, we will not land in a pile of horse manure. As we move into our future endeavors, it is important to embrace new experiences, to expand our worldview, to come into contact with others who have different backgrounds than us, and to be accepting of the unfamiliar. Just as there are many words that I, as a reader, have thought were pronounced vastly differently from their actual pronunciation and had my perception of the word changed, I encourage you to be flexible, to learn when you are wrong, and to be willing to accept changes. I mean, who would have thought that the word spelled colonel is pronounced colonel, epitome is pronounced epitome, or that supercalifragilisticexpialidocious backwards is suioecadylizecazecaphilagarphilocrepus? Thank you, Wantagh Theater, for putting on Mary Poppins in 7th grade. But just as we all learned to accommodate these pronunciations into our vocabulary, we must continue to adjust our thought processes to revolutionary ideas and passions. While sitting down to write this speech, I was nearly at a loss for words. And so, I reached out to a few members of our graduating class and asked them for their favorites. Among them were supercilious, apt, equanimity, plethora, buoyancy, turbidity, gruel, onomatopoeia, and subaqueous. Using these words, I advise you to stray away from being supercilious, from thinking yourself superior to others, but instead noting how you can help others and be helped by others in return. I find it apt that another such word was subaqueous, taking place underwater, as we are so near to Jones Beach and the Atlantic Ocean, and thus I encourage you to dive down into the depths of the metaphorical seas of your mind and your heart. Follow your plethora of passions and curiosity, delve into your dreams and fantasies, and make them a reality. But most importantly, use the words of those around you to motivate you, and remember this challenge. Always keep searching for and learning new words in the next stage of your life. Thank you, and felicitations, 3 cheers, and congratulations again to the class of 2022.
Thank you, Juliana. And now, at this time, I would invite our distinguished members of our administration and Board of Education to take their place near our diplomas and medals. And I ask Assistant Principal of Wantagh High School, Mr. Nick Pappas, to approach the podium.
Will the first row of graduates please stand? Dylan Shay Adams. Nicholas Cheeto Aldino. Emma Kaylin Alexander. Amanda Caroline Amato. Emma Margaret Ambrosino. Robert Charles Ambrosino. Sarah Christine Amodio. Faith Maria Andronopoulos. Anthony Carmine Anzalone. Ashley Taylor Argento. Tristan Matthew Asadorian. Edja Adelaide. William Christopher Belitzos. Alexander Christian Barty. Savannah Faria Barrera. Brooke Balia. Sean Connor Balia. Cole Thomas Belling. Andrew Joseph Bonanno. Madison Ann Boyle. Seth Aaron Brom. Olivia Ann Broderick. Lena Nicole Birch. Ryan Alden Berdewick. Lila Jessica Buscemi. Drew Thomas Cafiso. Nicole Catherine Calabrese. Angela Rose Camerano. Ava Rose Camerata. Thomas Christopher Campisi. Daniel John Cannon. Francesca Rose Capuano. Nicholas Alexander Carasello. Alexa Ray Cardone. Sean William Carlo. Kelly Elizabeth Carr. Liam John Casey. David Henry Cheeseman. Alexandra Catherine Chaccio. Cassidy Ray Conlin. Justin Peter Karabi. Olivia Lynn Karabi. Gabriel Carlos Cruz. Thomas Peter Capelli. Anthony Michael Cusumano. Samantha Rose Dar. Jacqueline Ann D'Angelo. Elena Nicole DiSiderio. Andrew James Diano. Amelia Grace DeBona. Marcella Di Domenico. John Joseph Diglio. Troy Michael Donahue. Megan Douglas. Caitlin Elizabeth Dunbar. Ryan Thomas Dunbar. Jayla Shea Dutro. Jalen Sierra Encarnacion. Alyssa Nicole Fico. Patrick Benjamin Fiorabello. Allison Frazier. Julia Emma Frozy. Zachary Lewis Garfinkel. Michael Francis Garrity. Benjamin Andrew Glasser. Christina Louise Gottfried. Sydney Lauren Goodwin. Alexa Sarah Gottlieb. Emma Ann Grasso. Ava Patricia Guesha. Garrett Gunn. Michael Adam Handel. Colin Francis Harrington. Owen Paul Harrington. Michael Joseph Hartman. Matthew Connor Hengline. Regan Ann Henry. Sabrina Henschel. Anthony Joseph Hodge. Aman Hussein. Elizabeth Antonia Immel. Julia Faith Anayan. Cavett Joseph Ireland. Philip Akram Iskander. Sarah Ray Jacobs. Luke Tyler Janasco. Justine Rose Kamelwitz. Ryan James Kelton. Jack Anthony Kennedy. Abigail Michelle Krug. Aiden Paul Kreisman. Mia Robin Kurtzman. Tessa Nicole Kurtzman. Joseph Hunter Francis Labo. Aiden Patrick Lang. Jack Hanson Lee. Haley Olivia Lurch. Michelle Lee. Cole Patrick Loney. Joseph Carmine Lucchese. Angelina Maria Masiak. Annalisa Josephine Madonia. Paris Malios. Samantha Lynn Meneses. Mark William Manier. Skyla Rose Marchese. Tyler Jason Martini. Brandon Thomas Martone. Grace Ann Massari. Michael Angelo Mateo. Hannah Lynn McCormick. Matthew Michael McCoy. Thomas Joseph McDonald. Stephen Mendolia. Ethan Evan Marone. Jessica Michelle Migliaro. Dennis Patrick Milishowskis. Andrew Millman. Christopher Patrick Morali. Patrick Francis Moran. Justin Leonard Morandi. Daniel Jack Mulligan. Keely Shay Naus. Alexa Rose Newbert. Brendan Paul Nizamuddin. Andrew Jason Nicholas. Isabella Nocera. Francesco Nico Nogara. Drew Peter Palladino. William Parkinson. Valerie Marie Pastori. Christina Anna Patmanidis. Christopher William Petrillo. Jake Ryan Pettis. Kevin Joseph Funstein Jr. Andrew John Piazza. Gabriela Pintoro. Hannah Susan Papadin Lesniak. Michaela Catherine Priest. Isaiah Malik Prophet. Olivia Rose Puglisi. Rachel Rose Quijano. Jenna Caitlin Rackley. William Dominic Razik. John Theodore Reali. Ashley Noel Reisert. Isabella Renda. Sarah J. Rendy. Michael Rivas. Caitlin Rochelle. Thomas James Rochford. John William Romer. Benjamin Barry Rogers. Juliana Catherine Rose. Jennifer Allison Rosen. Michelle Lori Rosen. Eamon Joseph Roth. Brandon Jake Shadoff. Samantha Marie Sheeta. Lindsay Nicole Schmid. Jessica Lauren Schmidt. Aiden Dylan Schroe. Vanessa Grace Scroy. Zainab Sheikh. Matthew James Spiteri. Blake Madison Supino. Kelly Elizabeth Taggart. Kiara Ashlyn Tarantino. Gianna Sky Tarantino. Kaylee Grace Tate. Madison Francis Taylor. Isaiah Pedicale Thomas. Mia Grace Tameo. Aiden Patrick Tracy. Paige Bibigul Treeland. Sofia Tsakos. Julia Rose Valentino. Aiden Joel Vecchio. Jason Charles Von Holten. Scott Charles Walters. Jamie Anna Watstein. Lauren Ann Weir. Erin Grace Whitaker. Caroline Margaret Whiffler. Joseph Jerome Whiffler. Daniel Joseph Wilkie. Jessica Diaz. Carolyn Kaczynski. Ziming Zhao.
Ladies and gentlemen, since 2013, Mrs. Kira McLaughlin has served this community as a Board of Ed trustee, Board of Ed vice president, and Board of Ed president. Mrs. McLaughlin concludes her term of service today. On behalf of the Wantagh School District, I thank Mrs. McLaughlin for her tireless service and dedication to our students and to this community. Thank you, Mrs. McLaughlin. Before we formally recognize and present the class of 2022, I must inform you that photos may be taken in front of the high school building, and that due to the artificial turf being prone to puncture by the heels of shoes, we ask that family and friends of the graduates wait for them outside the gates of this field. Again, photos may be taken in front of the high school building. And lastly, before I introduce Mr. McNamara and Mr. Greco, I would like to thank the Wantagh Fire Department for being here today at graduation and at so many events at the Wantagh School District. Join me in a round of applause for the Wantagh Fire Department. And now, for the presentation in recognition of the class of 2022, please welcome Superintendent of Schools, Mr. John McNamara, and Board of Ed President, Mr. Anthony Greco.
It is my pleasure as Superintendent of Schools to certify to the members of the Board of Education and all present that these young men and women have successfully completed all requirements for graduation set forth by the state of New York. Mr. Greco, I'm pleased to present to you the class of 2022 of Wantagh High School.
Thank you, Mr. McNamara. As the President of the Board of Education, and by the powers vested in me by the state of New York, I accept your presentation and hereby recognize the class of 2022, Wantagh High School.
Someone left it. Yeah, I'll find someone.
Yeah, someone from the school.
Maybe I should just leave it. Maybe come back with it.
Maybe. If not...
It's empty.